The first thing I noticed was the blood leaking under my apartment door. I dropped my fork, ramen, cold, didn't matter, and just stared. It was thick, pooling fast enough that it caught in the torn edge of the welcome mat. I'd always meant to throw that thing out. I'm 38, single, apartment 405, just me and my old man's Marine Corps lighter in my pocket. Never used, always carried. Night shift at the call center pays enough to keep the lights on, barely. Mom calls every Thursday asking if I'm eating. She doesn't know about the asthma or the overdue rent notice crammed behind the fridge magnet from my last real vacation. I can't stand elevators, can't breathe in small spaces, not since Dad died. Never told anyone. Before tonight, life was a cycle of microwaved meals, overtime, and cracked knuckles from the stupid habit of punching the bottom drawer when calls got too much. I'd tell myself it was temporary, that I'd fix things. Never did. I inched closer. The smell hit me first. Burnt hair, copper, and something chemical, like nail polish remover. The overhead light flickered. I could hear the static from the hallway speakers, that emergency alert system tone stretching on too long. Shelter in place. Await instructions. Shelter in. The words kept cycling, each time slower, like a tape warping in the sun. My phone buzzed, only it wasn't my ringtone. It was the jingle from Dad's old flip phone, the one we buried with him. I felt the panic squeeze my chest, same way elevators do. I grabbed the bat from the closet. Not for defense, not really. I just needed something to do with my hands. The blood was still spreading, thick and pulsing like something was trying to push its way under the door. My left knee locked up. I almost dropped the bat, that old pain from when I fell off the playground slide as a kid. Stupid detail to remember right now. Then I heard the scraping. Slow, metal on tile, coming closer down the hall. My neighbor's peephole glowed, backlit by some strobing, rotten light. The air felt heavy, like the hallway was shrinking, walls closing in, and every instinct screamed to run, but I couldn't. My own damn pride. I had to know. I pressed my ear to the door. The scraping stopped. Instead, there was a soft, rhythmic whistling, like someone breathing through a cracked reed. Not quite music, not quite human. I could smell that burnt chemical rot through the crack. My hand shook. I pressed the marine lighter flat against my thigh, grounding myself. Dad always said, if you're scared, you're paying attention. Then the emergency alert cut out mid-word, leaving just the static. Something on the other side started humming my name, voice all wrong, chopped up like an old voicemail played backward. The blood stopped flowing, and the doorknob started to turn. The knob twisted, slow and sticky, metal grinding like a tooth in a cracked jaw. I backed up, every muscle in my legs locked and aching. The bat felt useless, dead weight in my fist. My lungs were already tightening, the first curl of an asthma attack coming on, but I kept quiet, listening. That whistling came louder, thin and hollow, not stopping for breath, just pulsing. A single sliver of reddish-black pooled along the bottom edge as the door eased open. No chain, no bolt, just that worn brass knob and me standing stupid in my socks, feet cold on the linoleum. The hallway outside was lit the wrong color, sickly orange like a power plant glow or old sodium streetlights smeared with something greasy. I smelled ozone and that nail polish reek again, sharper now. I wanted to shout for help. Nobody would answer. My building's the kind of place where you don't even nod at your neighbors, just stare at shoes in the elevator, if you risk it at all. I hadn't spoken to anyone face to face in days. A shape moved just beyond the door, a shadow bending where it shouldn't, like elbows turning backwards. I saw the tip of a boot, but the leather was bubbling, stitched seams bleeding into the floor. Then a hand or close enough, wrapped around the edge of the door. Fingers were too long, nails black and split, skin peeled in strips. The thing whistled my name again, and the syllables were in my mother's voice, only stretched and chopped, not quite real. The air felt heavier with every inch the door opened. My chest stung, lungs stuttering, that old panic I remembered from getting trapped in the gym locker during a fifth-grade prank. I clutched the bat, knuckles white, and shuffled back, not daring to break eye contact with whatever crouched just out of sight. Then the lights in the hallway flickered. Once, twice, gone. Darkness pressed in, lit only by my TV still buzzing static and the blue LCD clock on the stove, stuck at 4:17. I remembered I'd left Mom a message at 4:12, telling her I'd call again after work. I wondered if she'd check it, or if anyone could anymore. The whistling stopped. Silence so thick my ears rang. The thing outside the door started tapping the wall, soft, arrhythmic, like it was learning how sound worked. Each tap made the blood on the floor shudder and pull back, not soak in, almost as if it was trying to crawl away. My phone buzzed again, just once, the phantom ringtone. I flicked my eyes to the screen. No signal, but a single text glowed there. Sender unknown. Do not leave the room. I wanted to believe it was a joke, some freak emergency drill gone wrong. But the taps grew faster, mimicking the beat of my heart, echoing my own pulse back at me. The thing's shadow stretched across the threshold, arms spidered wide, head canted sideways as if listening for my next breath. A little voice in my head, Dad's this time, told me to get low, keep quiet, don't let them hear you. I crouched behind the busted armchair, bat drawn up, marine lighter clutched in my palm so tight I thought the brass might leave an imprint. The thing croaked out a sound, almost a word, almost my name. The power snapped back on with a bang, blinding for a second. The blood on the floor shriveled into gray ash and the door slammed shut with a force that rattled the glass in the window. My chest heaved. I counted 10 breaths, shallow, lungs burning. The stove clock blinked to 4:18. The phone in my hand chirped. One new message, same sender. It's inside the building. Don't open the windows. Somewhere above me, something started crawling down the fire escape, each step echoing through the radiator pipes like bone dragged over metal. I didn't move for a full minute, counting the scuffs on my old linoleum and the beats between those scraping sounds outside. I could hear it. No, them, dragging themselves down the fire escape, metal pinging with every misshapen footfall. My hand shook as I clutched the marine lighter, thumb flicking the lid open and closed, a nervous tick I'd picked up years ago. I thought about my mom's birthday card still sitting on the counter, unsent. Something clattered against the window, not a knock, more like a wet slap, flesh and bone smacking glass. The blinds shivered. For a second, all I could see was my own reflection, wide-eyed and sunken, mouth half open. The scraping stopped. My lungs burned, air catching in my throat, that asthma tightness squeezing everything in. I crawled to the wall, dragging my phone with me, knuckles brushing the frayed corner of the carpet where Pickles used to chew before the landlord banned pets. No new messages. The whistling started up again. Outside now, moving from window to window, slow and deliberate. I tried to focus on anything else, the grit under my fingernails, the ache in my bad knee, how the TV still showed nothing but static. I remembered Dad's lighter trick, click, flick, snap, the tiny flame lighting up his grin on the 4th of July, before the world got so small and cold. The air felt thick, almost sticky, and I realized the smell had changed. The burnt hair and metal were still there, but underneath it, something sweet, rotting, like strawberries left in the sun. My stomach turned. I pressed my forehead to the wall, cold and solid, the only thing that felt real. My phone buzzed again, once, then went black. Just a single line had flashed before it died. Do not answer if they sound like family. I pressed my back to the window, watching the shadows ripple along the alley, shapes flickering in and out of the sodium streetlight. One paused, jerky, its head snapping at an angle no neck should allow. It looked right at me, eyes reflecting the orange light like a fox on a highway. I stopped breathing. The air in the apartment changed too, pressure dropping, ears popping. I heard the radiator creak, and then, from the vent above the stove, that same warped humming. It twisted through the pipes, threading the whole building together, like the walls themselves were learning my name. There was a low, grinding squeal from the hallway. I crawled toward the door, peering through the peephole. The corridor was empty, except for a smear of that dark blood curling along the baseboard toward Mrs. Wong's door. Her shoes were there, just like always, pointed neatly together, except tonight they were filled. I could see her feet still inside them, the rest of her hidden behind the doorframe. My heart hammered in my throat. I blinked just once, and her shoes were empty again. No blood, no feet, just shadows, and that scraping getting closer from above like something heavy and sharp being pulled from floor to floor. The marine lighter was slippery in my palm. My mind flashed with images. Dad lighting a smoke in the garage, Mom brushing my hair before school, the ugly pink tile in the bathroom. All the reasons I couldn't leave, couldn't let this thing in. The hallway lights flickered once, twice, then popped. The only light left was the sickly blue of the TV and the glow leaking under the door from that impossible orange, not quite real. My phone vibrated one last time, just as a new shadow blocked the gap at the bottom of my door. Don't let it see you breathing. I held my breath and listened as the thing outside began to sniff, slow, deliberate, like it was learning how to smell. The sniffing grew louder, deep, wet, sucking at the thin slice of air beneath the door. I pressed my lips tight, fighting the burn in my chest as the urge to cough climbed my throat. The thing shifted, dragging nails or bone against the paint. The door flexed in its frame, hinges creaking under a new kind of weight. I could hear the hallway carpet squelch as it moved, slopping footsteps inching closer, back and forth, like it was mapping my fear. I tucked my face into my sleeve, eyes watering, lungs screaming for air. My mind went blank except for old scraps. Dad's lighter, Mom's worried voice on the machine, that single picture of me and Jess at the boardwalk, sunburned and grinning. The TV snapped louder, a burst of static that made the thing pause. It cocked its head. I could hear it, cartilage popping, slow and careful. The room went even colder. Something pressed against the door, pushing just enough that I saw the wood bow in, watched the paint spider with thin cracks. My phone, dead seconds ago, lit up with a flash and began to ring. Not my number, not any ringtone I'd ever set. It was Jess's voice, clear as a bell. "Hey, pick up, please. I'm outside. Please let me in. It's cold." I squeezed the marine lighter until my hand cramped, eyes burning. I wanted to answer. God, I wanted to answer. But the words from the last message pulsed behind my eyes. Do not answer if they sound like family. The thing started humming again, my name and Jess's voice, then Dad's, then voices I hadn't heard since childhood, all strung together in a slurred, skipping loop. The lights flickered, 1, 2, off. Only the TV kept shining, screen blue and blank, casting a long shadow of the bat across the floor. The urge to breathe was brutal. My lungs burned, my chest shook. I counted down, 3, 2, 1, and let out the tiniest gasp. The thing went silent, every part of it focusing on the crack beneath the door. It started clawing, slow, rhythmic, tracing each groove in the wood. The scent flooded in, rot, copper, that sickly strawberry sweet layered over burning plastic. I could hear it mouthing my name, sticky lips on the other side, snuffling for the warm air I'd just exhaled. The TV sputtered, and for half a second the emergency alert voice returned, garbled, chewed up. But there, the government can't save you. The apartment shuddered as the thing hurled itself against the door. the whole frame buckling. Glass cracked in the window. I dropped the bat and stumbled backward, tripping over my own shoes, knees scraping open on the kitchen tile. A final message blinked on the phone, the screen flickering. Run. The window shattered inward, cold air and city dust billowing around the shape pouring in, a tangle of arms and legs bending the wrong way, faces flickering through its skin, every one of them someone I loved or lost or failed. The thing shrieked as it found me, noise filling the room, filling my head, scraping out every thought but terror. I tried to remember Dad's words, Mom's laugh, Jess's hand in mine. I tried to hold them, real and solid, but the thing swallowed sound and light and memory, dragging me toward the window and that endless orange glow outside, and then I was gone. If you made it to the end, don't forget to hit subscribe and share this story if it sent chills down your spine. Let me know in the comments what you'd do if the government vanished overnight. And remember, sometimes the warning comes too late. Stay safe out there.